My name is Joshua Bastian Cole. I'm 30 years old and I am an aspiring dancer in New York City. And by that I don't mean that I'm a trained dancer aspiring to become a professional dancer. It means that I'm a person aspiring to dance. I'm a female to male transsexual, actually. I transitioned about 10 years ago. If you don't know what that means, it means that I was assigned female at birth and socialized as a girl, and then I transitioned to become a man. In a lot of ways, I'm kind of the opposite of Michael in Billy Elliot. I am not the boy in the tutu. I was the girl in the black tights and white t-shirt. The tomboy is instead of the boy in a dress. I could be expected to talk about that. In fact, I do talk about it a lot, but that's not what I wanted to talk about in this video. I wanted to talk about becoming a man who dances, and discovering that identity, and how Billy Elliot is so integral to that. I really wanted to be a boy, and now I am one. I want to be a dancer as badly as I wanted to transition. And I did transition, so I feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility for me to dance. I had actually two really strong influences that I still talk about as to why I wanted to dance, and those two things were films. One was a film called Center Stage that I think a lot of people in my generation, a lot of dancers in my generation like to talk about. It's a pretty major dance film. Before dance was in a public, popular culture eye. The other one being Billy Elliot, the film. Just a big influence on me, and having interest to move, and you know, just because you want to. Well, I was 20 when Billy Elliot came out, so I was already in college, and I did take some dance classes, but it was pretty traumatizing because I took the classes as a girl, and it was horrible. It was just really terrible and traumatic to, you know, put myself into a leotard. It was kind of the last thing I wanted to do. It's kind of like putting Michael in a suit. It's just not what he feels comfortable in. I did not feel comfortable in a form-fitting, you know, leotard with all these women surrounding me. Yeah, I just never felt right, and at the time I didn't understand that, but you know, I kind of really moved away from it, and it wasn't until I transitioned, it was years after that I rediscovered dance and want to dance as a guy. I don't want to be a girl dancing. I want to be a man dancing. Like, I didn't want to be in a leotard with the pink shoes. You know, I wanted the black shoes. And now I have the black shoes. I have the black shoes. That's what I wanted. I want these. I'm really fascinated by the forms masculinity takes in the world of dance, and the concept of choreographing masculinities. You know, trans people are constantly searching their identities. I think trans people know themselves better than the mass public, because they spend a lot of time really thinking about who they are and who they want to be and getting to where they want to get to. And it's this constant identity search, and I'm still doing that. You know, even though I'm, you know, 10 years post-transition, I'm always thinking about it and aware of it. And it, you know, really I came around and discovered my masculinity was the masculinity that is only found in the world of musical theater and dance. These guys are really specific to that world. And, you know, it's not just about sexual orientation. That is completely not related. I'm just talking about gender identity and the form that takes in this world of dance. Billy Elliot actually touches on that too, that his sexuality has nothing to do with it at all. He just wants to dance, and he is just a guy. Billy, as soon as he takes that first class, knows that he wants to be a ballet dancer. He knows that he is a ballet dancer. And he never questions it. From that point on, he is a ballet dancer, and it's the surrounding network of people that are not acknowledging it or not supporting it. And that is very, very close to being a trans story. Even though his family is less than supportive initially, he never falters. And I think you find that a lot with especially trans youth, that they just know exactly who they are, and they just are, you know. They're not the ones questioning it, it's the people around them. Michael, if you look from outside, would be the trans character, the one who is, you know, exhibiting gender non-conformative behaviors. But his is not the story I'm interested in. It's Billy. Like, he knows who he is, and he's going to make it happen however he has to get there. And he does. And eventually his father and brother do come around, you know, which is really an important thing to tell an audience, I think. Because that's not always the case. As a trans person, I'm also really, really interested in trans masculinity in dance, and finding other trans men who dance. There's not a lot of us out there. There are some out there making work. The ones that I know, however, are really more inside the world of modern dance and postmodern dance. I'm really more in ballet and musical theater. I was just recently interviewed for graduate school, and I was asked what I would like to do in my second year thesis study, what I really want to focus on. And I spent a lot of time talking about trans theater, and I do talk about that a lot, and that is why I came to New York, was to do trans theater. It's an emerging art form. There are enough people, trans artists, telling our own stories, creating new work on stage, that it is becoming a new genre inside of the world of theater. And it's, in a much quieter way, becoming a new genre in the world of dance, but it's there. And I was talking really about being one of the new voices, you know, of creating this new trans theater. But what I really do want to focus on, not just theater, but I want to really look at dance. I want to look at trans dancers, and really talk about what that means for people, in their connection in their bodies, and how that translates into dance. That is, you really have to be inside your body to do, you know, which is kind of the opposite of what trans people are. You know, the definition of transgender really is really closely affiliated to dysphoria, a disconnection between your inner identity and your body. And I find it really an important thing for trans people to do, and it's something really terrifying. And I think it's important for artists to constantly be terrified, to scare themselves, to become better artists. But like I said, as I've been, you know, trying to find other dancers, they're all modern dancers, you know, which may be because there's more allowance for physical diversity in the world of modern, maybe. You know, I mean, ballet especially is a very gendered art form. It's you know, it's really kind of almost out of date, antiquated concept of male and female roles, which is something I, in every other way, fight against. But it's just what I really have always taken to. I've just always wanted to do ballet, and not modern. All my peers, the ones that dance, head towards the direction of modern, or even things more like hip-hop, more like popular kind of dance. I'm really more interested in things that have the lines of ballet. But what it comes down to is that, like Billy, I want to be a ballet dancer.